if you know it, you're not going to be here. There are no stupid questions. So it doesn't matter how stupid you think your question is, ask them. All right. I want you to feel free to, engage with me, engage with yourselves. So are there any questions on Jupyter Notebook? How many of us know how to get to, who can walk me through how we got to this place? And let me say, you can give your Jupyter Notebook a title. All right. You can give it, you can say this is class 2, or let me say course 2, and then you save it. It works just very fine. So who can tell me how we got to this place? Anybody who wants to just try? Don't worry, I know our time is who can walk me
You said
through?
to
How did we
search.
get to this point? Yeah?
You said to search for Google Colab.
Yeah.
So
Google Colab. Yeah, that's it. Maybe I should just show you. Google, I mean, I don't know it before now. So let's just say you don't know anything. You can just search for Google Collaboratory, or let's say Google Colab. Don't worry, you will still get it. So the first link that comes to you is your Google Colab. Just click on it. And that's it, you're in the environment. In as much as you have access to Gmail, you are logged into your Gmail, you can have access to Google Colab. All right. Thank you, Olakun, for Olakunle for always, responding.
does
Um,
it
yeah, go ahead.
does it support like collaboration the way you have on
Yeah,
Git?
awesome. Yeah, let's say, for example, I want to share my notebook with you, or maybe we are in a team and we are working together. All right. I can always share my notebook with you. Just like it works, it's a Google product, so it works the same way your typical Google apps work, your Google Doc, your Google, your Excel, and all of those things work. So I can share with you and then we can collaborate. All right. Okay. So yeah, let's go straight to the next thing. All right. The next thing that I want to discuss is this is something that I think I should skip this relational data because it is the same SQL that I talked about, but I think there are some important concepts that I need to introduce to you about relational data. Please, even though we want you to learn SQL, the way you become very grounded in this industry is if you know the fundamentals of what you are doing. You see, the basics are so important, right? They are so important because many of you want to learn the shiny things, the big things. Before you get there, learn the basics because those big things that you want to learn, they always ride on the small things. So if you don't understand the small things, you will have problem with the big things. So please, so we know what a relational data is. In a layman word, a relational data is data in rows and columns. This is your row. This is your columns. This is your row. ID is a column. Last name is a column. First name is a column. Role is a column. And then your Kotler, Zico, they are just rows. So this is what we call relational data. And then the reason why we call it relational means that it has relationships with other data, other tables. So for example, this is a table called person. So in this table, you store the names of persons. So for example, this is Professor Kotler Zico, who is the instructor of this class, the original instructor of this class. This is Z. Edgar, who is a teaching assistant under Professor Zico. This is Lee Mark, another TA. Manny Shuvik, another TA. This is Gates Bill, this student. This is Mox Elon, this is student, right? So this is a table. Just imagine an Excel sheet that stores information about something. So this is a table called person. And then we have another table called row. That means this table called row only stores the rows of people. So for example, for you to be in the data science class, you have to either be an instructor, a teaching assistant, or you are a student. So we have a separate table that stores instructor, teaching assistant, student, and we call that table role. Now, the relationship between role and person is that they have an ID. That ID is always called an identifier. So that means there's a way for me to identify who an instructor is, who a teaching assistant is, who a student is, right? So that at the end of the day, bringing these two tables together based on their identification or a means of identification, I will have this. So if I join, that's where you hear the concept of join. If I join the role table together with the people's table, I will come up with Cutlass Zico and all of the people with their different role IDs. Does that make sense? I know a lot of people will be thinking, is this guy just performing magic? It's difficult to practice this theoretically, but please go to W3 School, the same link that my colleague provided for you last week, W3 School, there's SQL bots, there is a lot of other online platforms that you can learn this. Go and learn SQL. It tells you the basics, teaches you everything, right? But yeah, so, and then there's what we call the primary key and the foreign key. This is the primary key. This is the primary key. So these are concepts that you must understand. So the role ID contains some numbers. Let me show you again. You can see 1, 2, 3. These are numbers, right? But this number, they mean something. They correspond to another number that is on what? That is on people ID. So for ID here, this is the primary key, but the same number that you can find here is foreign to this. All right. So please let me just say this. Learn database, learn SQL, but also learn the fundamentals of databases, primary and foreign keys, indexes, entity relationships. There are different types of relationships. Just because you saw that the role and the person table connect together based on ID, we have so many kind of relationship. There can be one-to-many, one-to-one, a lot of them. I can see somebody drop something in the chat. Oh, somebody is asking a very important question. I usually confuse the rows with the columns. Are rows the horizontal values or the column? Very good question. Hikma, the rows are the horizontal values. So 5, 85, 95. As you can see on this screen right now, let me take this off. This is a table called grade. So Hikma, just listen to me. This is a table called grade. Person ID, that means the vertical one that you can see. This is a column, person ID. HW1 grade is another column. HW2 grade is another column. Then the rows for each of these columns is 5. The rows for person ID is 5. The row for H1 grade is 85. The row for H2 grade is 95. So 585, they are rows. This is a single row. This is a single row. That's what I'm trying to say. This is a single row. This is another single row. So Hikma, can you confirm if you understand what I just said now? So yes, you are correct. The horizontal values are the rows and the vertical values are the columns. Hikma, can you confirm? Oh, Hikma left. But I hope Hikma got what I'm trying to say. So please, guys, learn all this. There's more to databases. There's more to SQL. There's more to that. So the good thing is that the language you're going to be using for this course is called pandas. So I'm just going to copy this just to demonstrate what I meant by relational data. Guys, please don't joke with this. Just try and implement some of these things, right? This is, even though it is possible in SQL, even though I'm telling you that you can do some of this, you can also do it in Python. So this is me creating the same table that you have. So I'm just going to show you here again what this looks like. So this is the table. Can you see the ID? So you can write this, you can create that same table that I'm teaching you, that I showed you, you can create it in Python and you can interact with it. All right. I believe we're able to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Next week, by God's grace, we're going to start with visualization, cover everything under data collection and management. Then we move to statistical modeling immediately. So I'm not going to spend so much time next week discussing. I'm just going to go straight to visualization, data exploration, and then statistical modeling. So we have just 6 minutes more. So I'm going to leave this 6 minutes for you to just ask me any question.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
okay. Um, I have experience having database administrators look at SQL queries that I write, complex SQL queries that use like a multiple series of joins, and
Mhm,
they just laughed at my code, the query, the
mhm.
SQL, meaning that there might be like a more efficient way to write those joins. So my question is, will SQL bolts help help with the knowledge of writing more optimal queries?
So when it comes to query optimization, and let me tell you the reason why the database administrator would probably laugh. The reason is because they build those tables themselves. They administer those tables. So they know that this table, the best way to join to this table is not this way. Or let me say, if you are joining on this table using this column, you are probably going to spend so much time consuming resources because that column does not have any form of index. So it's going to take so much time to search. So, but when it comes to answer your question, I'm just trying to tell you the reason why they probably laugh at you. The reason why they laugh at you is because they created those tables, though they know what those tables is all about, right? But to answer your question specifically, SQL boot is meant to just introduce to you SQL. When it comes to writing optimizable code, when it comes to writing optimized query, it boils down to two things: how much you understand your tables. One, how much you understand your tables. Because if you don't understand your tables, how do you know how related that table is to another table? So I'm not just saying you know that table and the columns there. You know the table and the relationship of that table to other tables. For example, do you know the columns that is indexed on that table? Do you know the best column to use to search whenever you want to search through that table? Do you know the best column to use to search? So there are things, this is like advanced SQL. Code optimization or query optimization is like an advanced SQL. So without wasting so much time, SQL bots will likely not tell you how best to optimize your query, but will tell you the best way, or will tell you the how to use all of those functions. Your select, your where, it's going to tell you all of that, which I think is what you need. Unless if you already, there are many advanced SQL courses. There is a course taught by a professor in a university in Germany. I can't remember what it is. It's advanced SQL. Is available in YouTube. You can check it out if you know you are not struggling with the basics. You want to know how to optimize your code. You need to understand there are so many things that goes into optimizing your code. It's not just about writing SQL. You need to understand your table. You even need to understand the compute available to your databases. You need to understand how best to use your functions, where you need to use a window function. Are you using something else? There are so many things that goes into it. But I can see, so is that clear, Olakunle?
Yes. Yes. If not to hog up your time,
Yeah.
are there other people that want to ask questions? Because I have one more.
Yeah, Wisdom is asking a question in the chat. Wisdom
Okay.
said, you made mention of primary and foreign key. Please, can you put more light on this? So yeah, let me see if I can do this in 2 minutes. So Wisdom, you have table A on the left-hand side. You have table B on the right-hand side. Table A has information of people that attend a particular class. In this case, practical data science class in Carnegie Mellon University. In table B, you have the roles. That means for you to attend the practical data science class, you are either an instructor, you are either an instructor, a teaching assistant, or a student. So each roles that are available for that class is stored in table B, and each roles have a way of identifying them. So if I see one, I know that this is an instructor. If I see two, I know that um, this is a teaching assistant. If I see three, this is a student. So here in people's table, I have the name of the instructor, or let me say the name of the attendees of the class, their different ID, and other information. So on the row table, the ID is the primary key. That means the way you identify each role in table B is that you use the primary key. The ID is the key that you use to identify each record that is in that table. Now, when you take that same ID, when you find that same ID in table A, that ID become a foreign key in that table. Do you understand what I'm saying? That same ID that is the primary key here becomes a foreign key in table B, because it's just a way to identify the same people who are here in the other table. I don't know if this makes sense, but I believe if I share this link with you at the end of the class, you will be able to understand what this is, or you can even read up on it. But that is just the general idea behind it. A primary key, a foreign key. The name even speaks. This is primary to this table. This ID is primary to this table. But when you take that ID to the other table, it is foreign there. Okay? Yeah, the primary key is always unique. Hikma, the primary key is always unique. Then Asu is asking, please, I don't really understand the use of Jupyter Notebook. Is Jupyter Notebook an analysis software? Because I see it's similar to R. Asu, I don't know whether you were here when I was starting to discuss Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook is an online browser-based coding environment. It's an online browser-based coding environment. It's an online browser-based coding environment. It is not, there are so many programming languages that you can use within a Jupyter Notebook. You can use R, you can use Python, you can use SQL, you can use Spark. There are so many of them. There are so many, programming language I can use. So yes, it's an analysis software that can help you to run R code, that can help you to run Python codes, and so on and so forth. I hope that answers your question, Asu. All right, we are 1 minute already. So Olakole, just ask your question so that I don't want us to spend more than an hour on this.
Okay, thank you. When it comes to writing Python code more efficiently, would memorizing the principles help you write code more efficiently? Or is it fine to know as much as you can know then when it comes to working with APIs or functions that are not used to, you can just be checking periodically what their parameters are and all that?
Honestly, I will always advise people not to memorize anything. Don't memorize. You see, the best coders or the best software engineers or the best programmers is with time. When you work with something for a long time, it becomes part of you, right? It becomes part of you. The more you use something, the better you become at that thing. So that's one concept that I want to tell you. That's one important thing I need to say. The second thing is that you don't need to memorize anything. That is the reason why there is documentation. Because I've not worked on something for a very long time, I might struggle when I pick it up again. So that's why there's documentation. Just go and check the parameters that you need to pass into a method or into a function or whatever. It doesn't it doesn't make you a less programmer. You don't need to memorize anything. Do you know what I'm saying? The best programmers still check Google. That is one of the myths I want to demystify. The best programmers, they still check Google. But just understand the fundamentals. And then the more you apply yourself, or the more you apply some of these concepts in your programming language, whether Python, the better you become at it. Right? So, do you understand what I'm saying? Please don't
Yeah.
memorize. You don't need to cram anything. Just apply. Just continue using them. Continue applying those things that you're learning, and then it become part of you. All right?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you once again for joining the class. We are going to be having another session next week. Please try and join early so that we won't have spent today. We have to wait for like 5 minutes before we start. And so I don't want us to waste time next week. There's so many things to cover, right? And I promise to drop the resources I use. I'm using Professor Zico resources at CMU. I'll drop the resources online available. I mean, within the WhatsApp group. Look out for it, and then spend time between now and next week. Spend time to go over the things that we've talked about. What is data science, relational data, Jupyter Notebook. Next week, we are going to be doing web scraping first. I will show you an example of web scraping, and then we'll move to data visualization, and then we'll do statistical modeling. All right, thank you. You still have your hands up, Elizabeth. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I wanted to mention
Yeah.
that I don't belong to the WhatsApp group because the group is full. So I belong to the community, the larger community. So I don't know how the
Oh,
resource
you don't belong to the data science group,
group.
but you are in the
Yes,
larger community.
yes.
Oh, let me see. Is any of the admins still here? So that they can help you, they can help address your case. I'm not sure, but if your name is the same as Elizabeth, I think I can tell the admin to just look out for you and see how
Oh,
they can
okay.
add you.
My name on the WhatsApp group is Educator Elizabeth.
What do you say?
My name on the WhatsApp on the community is Educator Elizabeth.
Educator Elizabeth.
Yes.
Okay. I might have to help you talk to one of the admins to just add you to the data science. Or
Okay.
I will say maybe they should reshare the link to each of the communities so that you can just click on the link and join.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you once again, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. And I believe that you had the class today was very interesting. That's what I believe is interesting. So see you next week and take care of yourself.
Thank you.
All right.